I would like to call the Coffeyville City Commission meeting to order for Tuesday, June 24th. We all have roll call by Melissa.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Here.
Commissioner Jones.
Here.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Here.
Mayor Maples.
Here.
And Commissioner Hendricks is absent this evening.
We will now have our invocation by Paul Kreitz. Please stand.
Thank you for not calling me pastor.
I started to.
No,
I just out of habit of that's who.
of course. Let's pray. Father in heaven, we thank you so much for this day. We thank you for the blessings of this day. We're thankful for the break in the rain and for the coming of summer and the changing of seasons and the reminder that you're in control of all things. Pray that you will continue to bless this city, bless the commission, bless city staff. We thank you for giving us a good community to live in and help us to continue to prosper. Pray for our country at this time as well, Father. The decisions are made that will be beneficial to those concerned. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will now have our review of the agenda. First will be our consent agenda, and that will be the City Commission meeting minutes for Tuesday, June 10th, 2025. Then we have Resolution R-25-64, a resolution to amend the 2025 fee schedule for the City of Coffeyville. And number 3, our 2025 appropriation ordinance number AO-25-12 in the amount of $4,797,285.75. Do you want to go over the
Resolution first.
the
Fees.
fee schedule?
Yeah.
Sure.
Sorry.
Effective July 1st, there are changes to House Bill 2134, which will require some revisions to our current fee schedule. This bill is introducing some new limitations on fees that we can charge for producing documents for the Kansas Open Records Act. Specifically, we may now only charge fees that reflect the actual cost of providing the copies of the requested records. Those costs can include staff time spent reviewing, redacting documents, and additionally, if staff time is necessary to fill the records request, we must assign the lowest paid staff member who is reasonable, capable of completing the task. So what I'm recommending is changing the fee schedule for that Kansas Open Records Act to the actual cost. That way we are in compliance with the new bill, and we will assess each open records as it comes through if we are assigning a cost to it to fall within these guidelines.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay.
And now we will have our appropriation ordinance.
Okay, I will highlight a few of the items on tonight's appropriation ordinance. Air Hygiene International, this is the annual test on boiler number 4, $6,966. Ashland Tree Expert Company, $11,001.40. Backyard Discovery, Arlington Gazebo. This is for North Park, $11,446.43. Once again, this comes out of the sales tax that is designated for the parks. Bartlett Co-op Association, this is for gasoline, propane, and book oil fluid, $4,330.45. BG Consultants, this is for design on several projects that are going on right now, $23,309. We have Landon Public Finance, this is payment number 24 for our golf cart lease, $2,240. Excuse me. Delta Dental of Kansas Incorporated, $5,178.65. This is for dental premiums. We have G&G Dozer. This is for nuisance cleanup, $500. We have Grand River Dam Authority, $3,277,193. Hawkins Incorporated, this is for chlorine and everything associated with wastewater was $17,359.06. Health, sandblasting, and paint. This is the sandblasting that's been done on the fountain at Feaster Park out of the park improvements, $3,000. J&J Contractors, this is for the north guardrail repair on Overlook, $8,536. We have the library. This is the third tax distribution, $123,469.45. Stevens Trophies and Custom Embroidery, $2,652. Wartzilla North America, $26,162.43. Phillips 66, we have a total of $6,774.04. This is for gasoline for all department vehicles. We have Worldwide Diesel Power. This is for payment number 24 and 25 on the 18K and 24K out of the new gin plant, $52,987.75. And then we had payroll of $431,447.80. Thank you.
Any questions?
I have no questions.
No, if there's no questions. I will move to approve items 1 through 3 of the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Mayor Maples, seconded by Vice Mayor Van Oster to approve items 1 through 3 of the consent agenda as presented. Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Okay, we will move on to the 2025 appropriation ordinance number AO-25-12A for Isham's and Liebert's for $501.12. And I will move to approve item 4 of the consent agenda as presented. Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Maples, seconded by Commissioner Jones to approve item 4 of the consent agenda as presented. Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Abstain.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye. Okay, moving on to comments from the public. Any citizen desiring to address the commission shall be recognized, advance to the podium, state his or her name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes unless extended by a vote of the majority of the commission. The commission does not hear matters involving litigation or city personnel. The commission does not take action on subjects not on the agenda unless unusual or hardship conditions exist. Citizens may address the commission on agenda items as they are brought to the floor. Do we have any? No? Okay. We will move on. We have no public hearings, special presentations, or proclamations. Move on to old business. The second reading of ordinance S-25-05, a home rule ordinance of the city of Coffeyville relating to the Coffeyville Regional Medical Center. Did you want to say anything?
Unless there's any questions from commissioners or any other explanation, I don't have any new
Okay.
items for that.
Okay.
I will move to approve our second reading of ordinance S-2505 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Faulkner to approve the second reading of ordinance S-25-05 as presented. Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
And Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Thank you. Second reading now of ordinance S-25-06, an ordinance allowing alcohol to be served in Union Pacific Park during the Coffeyville Area Chamber of Commerce's Hops Around Town Beer Festival event.
I will move to approve our second reading of ordinance S-25-06 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Faulkner to approve second reading of ordinance S-25-06 as presented. Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye. Okay, moving on to new business. We have Resolution R-25-65, a resolution to adopt a Vision Zero policy and authorize the submission of the Safe Streets and Roads for All planning grant application. Executive Director of Public Works, Jim Wright, will make comments. Good evening.
Good evening. Yes, the adoption of the resolution for Safe Streets for All. This is to authorize a federal planning grant application under the Safe Streets and Roads for All program is a road safety audit and traffic engineering study along the US 166 corridor for $160,000 with our match being $40,000. This originated through the Southeast Kansas Regional Planning Commission. They applied, I believe it was in '21, for funding to do a comprehensive safety plan for, I believe it was the 9 of the 12 lower Southeast Kansas counties. And that would include all the cities within each county. So this has just been finalized. We got the final plan. And in order for us to apply for additional federal funding, we need to have a road safety audit and traffic study done. And that would entitle us to have additional points and additional consideration when applying for federal funds. The resolution states that the joined other jurisdictions, Southeast Kansas Regional Planning Commission, for a comprehensive safety action plan for Montgomery County and its community members. We recognize the need to be proactive measures to increase roadway safety and prevent future deaths and injuries.
If
Just
this
in-
was awarded, it would begin November of this year and go on to almost 2 years, correct? October of 2027?
Yes, yeah, November of '25, and be completed in October of '27. Hopefully, it would not take that long.
That long. I didn't know if
but
that's just.
that would entitle us to have, they would look favorably on applicants who follow their protocol.
Okay.
Just as an observation, the tables and the statistics that were presented there in the detail were just eye-opening. And I don't know if there's a way to make that information available to the public so that we can basically say, don't do this, you'll get hurt.
We can make that available on our website, or they could come and we can get them a copy of that.
And I think what you're referring to is especially our crash injury here in Coffeyville is 35% higher than the Kansas.
Yes.
I was
average. I
surprised
did
by
not
that
know
number.
Yes.
I was very
And,
surprised by that number.
I guess, you hear about things happening, but 5 people were killed between 2017 and 2021, and 48 seriously injured in traffic incidents within the city limits, so.
Yeah, I think
just
that when comparing that to the state average, they take the number of miles traveled and the traffic count and how
Okay.
far this corridor is.
All right. I move to approve Resolution R-25-65 as presented.
Second.
Motion's made by Commissioner Faulkner, seconded by Commissioner Jones to approve Resolution R-25-65 as presented. Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, a resolution R-25-66, a resolution to approve a purchase order with Elliott Equipment for a sewer inspection camera.
The current wastewater collection sewer inspection camera is sometimes not functional and becoming obsolete. It was purchased over 20 years ago. It was purchased as a trailer package. It was a trailer that had the camera and the spool, the cable that attaches to the camera and travels, and then a monitor inside this trailer. The trailer is still good. The company, Elliott, is who we had purchased it from originally. So this equipment will be retrofitted into our existing trailer by
Okay.
our personnel.
Nice. That's good. Okay.
Okay,
Well, I will move to approve Resolution R-25-66 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Faulkner to approve Resolution R-25-66 as presented. Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye. Okay, now moving on, Resolution R-25-67, a resolution to approve a supplemental agreement with BG Consultants for construction inspection on the 2025 Street Improvement Project. Again, Jim Wright will make comments.
This supplemental agreement with BG Consultants is for the project on West 7th and West 6th Street. Also included in that would be an overlay on Woodland and Stark, Buckeye, and then the mill and overlay on First Street. And this would be, they're the ones that designed this, and this is adding to the supplemental agreement they had for additional work on there. So this is for $85,000 to be the consultant inspector, and this is not to exceed.
Okay.
Well, I will say one thing, it's been like 50 years since I think anything was done out there. When we were in the county, they put down the blacktop. Then when we were annexed into the city, they took that all up, put down gravel. So everybody out there is really anxious for this to take place.
I can only imagine they are.
Yeah. Thank you, City of Coffeyville.
Well, no other questions. I will move to approve Resolution R-25-67 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Maples, seconded by Commissioner Jones to approve Resolution R-25-67 as presented. Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. Resolution R-25-68, a resolution to approve a design and layout contract with Synergy for parking lots at Sycamore Park and North Park. Jim Wright will make comments.
As part of the sales tax that was passed in 2022 for park improvements, parking lots were planned for these two parks in order to ensure proper drainage and accurate bidding of the construction plans and specification are needed. We recommend having Synergy do the layout and all the surveying and coming up with plans for that so we can bid that out.
Okay.
And for the Sycamore Park parking, what sort of plans are there for a protected crosswalk?
There's a crosswalk going to be from the parking lot to the, going north-south across First Street to go to the park there. There will be a marked crossing walk.
All right, thank you.
All right, if there's no further questions, I will move to approve Resolution R-25-68 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Faulkner to approve Resolution R-25-68 as presented. Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Resolution R-25-69, a resolution to authorize the issuance of a purchase order for various types of insurance for the City of Coffeyville to be effective July 1st, 2025 through July 1st, 2026. Director of Finance Martin Cummings will make comments.
Good evening, Commissioners. It's been a minute.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my first time back with you again is at that time of year where we have to renew our liability insurance policies on the city. Both of the policies are, as with last year, through MPR and James River. One policy is for the city at large. The other policy is a liability policy for our power plant and general electric operations for that utility. The good news is this year, we only had a 1% increase across both policies. So the cost as presented tonight is $674,549. Just as a frame of just to kind of contextualize that, last year's cost was $673,441. So we've gone up just a little over $1,000 for the whole year. Compared to last year where we had an over 11% increase that we had to endure. In the current market space nationally, essentially we've experienced a flat delta. Yes, it was an increase of 1%, but given the overall cost, it's almost a rounding error. And so I think I was actually quite pleased that is the case. We've seen similar success with our insurance renewals for our medical insurance this year. So I'm hoping we will see that continue on the rest of our policy renewals we have throughout the rest of the year. I'm not promising that, but I am hopeful. So in any case, as of last year, these will be, from a budget perspective, be allocated to various departments shared across the city. But with that, do you guys have any questions for me this evening?
And I may, pardon me, jump in here real quick. Marty and I talked about this. I wasn't going to bring it up, but just sitting here feeling like it's a good idea just to address it. So we have used Gallagher as a broker for several years. I don't know how far back that went. The only staff member that was here doesn't recall when we signed, but it said we've used them for a number of years. So in April of 23, Intact, who had been insuring us, dropped us. The risks of the Midwest market, costs going up, wasn't something that we're interested in. Marty actually has a document, 24 other insurers that Gallagher asked to get quotes from, and they all declined to do that. And so Gallagher had brought up in the past Midwest Public Risk as an organization to get insurance from and to underwrite there. So Midwest Public Risk is a municipal risk pool. They specifically are made up of cities and school districts that are all pooling together to help with those insurance costs. And so that happened in 2023. Gallagher recommends, and my experience would agree with this, and I believe Marty's would as well, that it's not something that we should go and get re-quoted every year at the size that we are and the risk level, that will be an additional thing that would turn off those who want to insure us from coming to the table to do that. And so this will represent the third year now with Midwest. And so we will have this next year, that will be up for consideration, that we'll discuss with our broker on whether or not we should finally now go rebid and see what those costs are. But with the minimal increase that we had this year and the possibility of next, that may be something we want to continue. I know that there are, in fact, I had an email, and I will respond to that business member who asked us about the bidding process and that quoting process, trying to understand. And so that's a little bit piece there on the GL side and the complications that we've had in the past and why we're not bidding this out this year.
It's probably worth, since we brought it up, worth commenting on a couple of the key components why we've experienced difficulty getting participation from other underwriters. And two of the main components is our geographic location, just the propensity for the types of storms that we have. You know, I know we say tornado seasons is in spring, but I believe it also happens in the fall too. So the other issue that we run into is with the levee. This is a big point of risk that a lot of typical underwriters aren't apparently interested in covering. Okay. So that is a particular issue. I understand that the levee is not like a full-fledged dam, but they still view it with that kind of risk profile in mind, or view us with that risk profile in mind. And so those are a couple of the key, referencing the feedback that Ben had mentioned that we had received from this 2023 market bid that we had conducted. So hopefully what we would hope for is if we go back out to market, obviously we're looking to make sure that the city is protected financially, that we're getting the best bang for our buck, so to speak. But the other factor that we have to look at is how much has the market's appetite for our risk profile changed. And so those are things that are outside of our control. It's not like we can go to wave a magic wand, get rid of the levee, or wave a magic wand and all the tornadoes skip over us and hit Bartlesville or whatever it is, right? So so those are the difficulties that we deal with outside of just normal our routine operations.
Yeah, and I forgot one piece to that, and that is also our understanding, and I did reach out to Midwest today to confirm this and didn't get anybody, but our understanding is that they solely work with Gallagher as a broker. Again, I haven't confirmed that, but that's information we're gathering from these 2023 conversations, and the reason why we hadn't gone out and put to bid for local brokers. This is an established relationship with the city, and established with Midwest, since we're not bidding out Midwest. Anyways, more details there to share.
Yeah.
I know there were some concerns from the public.
And the next best quote that we had gotten in 23 was almost double what the NPR was presenting us with, and I'm sure you guys maybe recall that. So again, there's nothing in our risk profile that has changed since 23 that would indicate that we're going to get a significantly different response. So the only thing we can hope for is a change in market appetite. Any further questions, anything on the matter?
Couple of questions there.
Sure.
On page 12, there's a box for yes, no on cyber liabilities. Talk to us about that.
So as of right now, okay, probably should contextualize this a little bit. Given the nature of the city's historic measures to protect the digital footprint of the city, or absence thereof is probably a better way to look at it, most underwriters are not interested in carrying us for cyber liability. And so as of right now, we are currently in a process of amending and updating our various IT protocols and processes so that we will become a city that's underwritable, okay? And so once that's complete, our intention is to go in and take that out to bid, have Gallagher go in and bid that out for us so that we can actually get some cyber underwriting. It will be more than likely it'll be a dedicated policy just for our cybersecurity. It won't necessarily be an add-on or a rider to an existing policy that we have.
All right, thank you. Also on the page, property and liability contributions under the column liability, I see an entry, public official, and then / EMP practices liability. Public official, is that essentially DNO?
Got director, or kind of a DNO / ENO type policy for people who work for and represent the city.
All right.
So.
And then also under EMP practices, is there any requirement for the city to institute some sort of proactive measure to mitigate any kind of an EMP issue should it occur?
That's a good question. Not that I'm cognizant of. So.
That falls right in line with cybersecurity and the nature of it. In fact, I think we had maybe last year a conversation about this insurance and with EMP and what's out there. And even though it mentions it on there, there's not a lot of coverage for something directly like that. It's just one of those. I think that the world is changing so quickly that risk for them to assign on to full coverage for something like that, when you get into those details, it's I would say it's not great coverage if that truly was some type of an attack.
And it's
as far as I know, there's really only two sources where we could suffer an EMP attack. One would be if a nuclear weapon was detonated over the central U.S. at a high altitude. The second one, maybe a little more possible, is we are entering the 11-year solar maximum cycle now. So, EMP bursts from the sun are quite regular during this solar maximum. And in past years, there are different communities that have been blacked out. The Northeast and Canada a couple of years just got wiped out for several days.
The extent to what that coverage would be in terms of the T's and C's of the policy, I'd have to take a little more a closer look at because it may, and I'm going to admit to not being an expert on this aspect of our coverage or the possible coverages that we could go and obtain. So I'm not sure if the source of the EMP matters, if it's pertinent, if it's an AOG issue or an act of terrorism or act of war. That's something I'd have to go and consult our representatives
The
on.
probability of that's, nil.
Probably so. And it's for the same reason that we do not pick up we reject the terrorism rider that comes on the James River policy. We have been advised both by our broker and just by common sense, the way these are structured, that these are not a good value for your money. In the event of a claim, the claims are very difficult to actually successfully execute and recuperate any funds that way from. So that's why we also stay away from that too, just because it's
Okay, thank you.
insurance fluff.
That's all I had.
Okay.
Okay, if there are no other questions, I will move to approve Resolution R-25-69 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Maples, seconded by Commissioner Faulkner to approve Resolution R-25-69 as presented. Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Resolution R-25-70, a resolution to authorize a construction contract with B&L Electric for the Coffeyville XFMR replacement project. Executive Director of Electric, Chris Weiner, will make comments. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having me again. Just want to be here to answer any questions you should have in your packet. A lot of the information there. This is the project that we've been having some come up here multiple occasions here in the past. This is for the transformer upgrade project there at CRNF. They're replacing those transformers. We've got there two 75 MVA transformers with two 125 MVA transformers, so an additional 50 megawatts or so of load capacity. So this is the construction contract to do that. It'll be a two-phase contract. The first phase will be October of this year when their turnaround happens this year, and then they do that about every 3 years or so. So the second phase will be October of 28 is the current plan, but that could shift a little bit. So we're saying Q4 of 28 is the expectation. But this contract is for both phases. It'll just be broken up over those two time periods, and so we're awarding this contract to one contractor that will be on the hook to do both construction phases. We will look to have engineering firm do the construction engineering on the project. This particular bid came in a little bit over the engineer's estimate, but we only had two bids, and so this was the low bid by a substantial margin. The expectation is, I'm asking here for $3 million. We don't expect it to be quite that much. You'll see in the documentation that the bid award is for 2.6334, I think. But just in case, we have some contingency things happen, we'd like to have some additional funding there to be able to move forward in the event that we need to rather quickly. But certainly, hopefully, that doesn't occur. But like I said, this is really a 3-year project at this point. The phase 2, we'll be looking at if we have any excess, it'll really probably come at that 2028 time frame, and we'll be having another conversation at that point. But hopefully we'll be at that 2.6 number and won't have to move much from that.
This cost is completely reimbursable by CRNF.
Yes,
correct?
sorry.
No, that's okay.
Most important point there. Yes, it is. CRNF will reimburse us. I will say that there are some, I'd say some small benefits at large to the city that will be our system as the native load will benefit from this project to a small degree, and so we're picking that out a little bit, having the engineer figure out exactly how much of that is going to be attributable to the city at large as far as benefiting all of our customers. CRNF will be responsible for what's going to solely serve them, and so that will be what we charge to them. Of this $17 million project or so, our expectation is that about $500,000 of that will be attributable to the city of Coffeyville. So we'll probably have about $500,000 or so of expense on this project, but by and large it'll be reimbursable from CRNF.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's no further questions, did you have something, Jim?
No
Okay.
questions.
All right. I will move to approve Resolution R-25-70 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Jones to approve Resolution R-25-70 as presented. Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we will move on to the city manager's report.
Few things to go over. There was a question by Commissioner Faulkner last time about the CID there at the shopping center west of town. Went and got some specifics on that, and Marty may be able to paint a little bit better picture than I can if you need more details, but the high level is that the retailers there and the state initially had some miscommunications. And so to go and show you those numbers when it started, they'd be deceiving because they were incorrect. We believe now that they are up and going correctly, and we'll be able to start having those numbers run in, and we can report those in our packets as you see fit, as you want those. But didn't want to show up with them because they'd be deceiving and they were not being tabulated correctly. Again, miscommunication between the state and the retailer there. Any questions on that, Commissioner Faulkner?
No,
Okay.
thank you.
A lot of questions on our trails project over there near Woodland. It got ripped out, if you would have seen. We had a downpour they weren't expecting. It came in, ended up washing a lot of the kind of the finish work on that concrete. Looked more like cobblestone, is I think the way Jim put it. And so they had to go in at their cost, not our expense, and rip that out and re-put it in. So if you get questions on that, you know. The LDG Rentals building, we've been working with attorneys on that, trying to get that wrapped up. I have 2 agreements right now, one for the agreement on the fire station and one for the other building. Paul and I have those and are kind of reviewing those. Hope to be able to have a decision on that here pretty quickly on moving forward and executing that plan. Quick update, several commission meetings ago, we came, Paul and Quinn and I, and talked about out-of-state tags, and Quinn was going to go out and do some research. We've been reaching out to other communities. I think we have about 6 on the list. We've heard back from 3 so far. All 3 of them do not do anything about that. That's up to the county. So we'll continue that research project and bring that back to see what others are doing and if commissioners want to move forward differently from there. I believe you have this announcement up there with you. We have an open house Thursday, June 26th. That's just in a few days here from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And that is specifically dropped off at residences on West 6th Street and West 7th Street. We're inviting them to come in. This is the second one we've done where we'll sit down, we'll have our engineers here, we'll have the maps out. There's no presentation, so it's come at any time, and we'd be happy to explain that project. That's going to be a messy project because we're doing those, there's access issues when you start tearing people's streets up. So we want to make sure people are aware, give them our best estimations of timing and what that would entail. Rest assured, of course, public safety is always aware of these projects, and they have their own game plans as they need to get down those streets, and we coordinate with them. Our infographics are nearly complete. We have one left that we're really looking at. Those will be going out in just a few short weeks here, so that residents will get the electric rate increases and some of that information we have. Of course, we've put out for several weeks a whole section on our website of frequently asked questions. And so we're continuing that. Those infographics will also be put onto our website, and we'll do some campaigns on Facebook to put that detail out that's on those infographics as well. Tennis courts are moving along. If you've gone by and looked, it's looking nice. It's looking new. It's looking upgraded. So I know we have a lot of excited people that keep reaching out, asking about that project. We're moving on. Hopefully June and July, we've got a lot of nice working days, not a lot of rain days like we've had, so we can get that project hopefully complete end of July. Rain may have already pushed it into August, but we're hopeful. Last thing, Coffeyville Proud. We mentioned this, I think, 2 meetings ago. We are the city of Coffeyville here, the organization, and we're proud of this city, and we wanted to show residents that. And so we are going to be going out and doing some cleanup projects in town. And we've reached out to civic clubs and businesses, and we have a whole list of other people that are interested in coming out and participating as well. We put out to the public that we're looking for areas where the city, volunteers could come and clean up, and whether it's trash or debris in the streets. There's some areas in town where people say, oh, this is the city's job, and the city says, no, that's your responsibility, and we're looking for some of those areas too, that we can just all go and volunteer time and keep this community that we love looking good. So we've got a lot of suggestions. We're working through that, and when we get those dates, we'll be sure to put that out. Of course, commissioners, as available, are welcome to come out with that as well, and we'll be blasting that all over our social media pages. And that is all I have, barring any questions from commissioners.
Have we hired an animal control officer yet?
The position has been open for several weeks. First, there's a process for bidding for those who are within the unions who can bid for that job, and we did have that happen. So we go through that process, and then we come in behind that and we interview those who have applied. Those interviews are ongoing right now. The current plan is, again, there's some conversation with the unions to solidify job descriptions, but we're going to take our 1 animal control position and our 2 code enforcement positions and make that one team. So all 3 of them will work on animal issues as well as our general code enforcement. So we're making those changes and suggestions there. I think so far both unions are positive that affects just some last minute questions they have to clean that up. I have found a company out of Ohio that they specialize in both code enforcement and animal control training. They go as far as to move into animal shelter operations. We've engaged them for, I want to say, the last week in July to come out and do some training so that those 3, with those new the new employee and the responsibilities that change for our existing employees are properly trained. A lot of laws out there, a lot of appropriate ways to deal with animals, 1 for their own safety and 2 for just working with the public. So we're putting that training in place as well. We have qualified people on the streets. We're having a lot of conversations with Coffeyville Friends of Animals and our animal shelter and their needs out there. I have had several phone conversations, met in person. We have another meeting coming up on Monday. We'll have further discussions on the opportunity for the city to step in and help further what they accomplish at the animal shelter. And so we try to get that wrapped up and bring those options to you. This is a complicated, frankly, mess. Unfortunately, there's a lot of our citizens who call in who have frustrations with especially dogs on the loose. And unfortunately, the accountability of those folks who have gone out and had those animals is not always there. Now, there's a lot of good people who have animals and take care of them appropriately, and there's a lot that aren't accountable for that. People have come in and said, in fact, even at our own facilities, and we had a dog up at the pool that just wanted to get in. They could not get this dog to go away. They finally had put it in our one of our rooms, and we had to do some cleanup after that, just trying to do something with it. But even the pool was calling, who do we call to figure out this animal? And when your animal shelter is filled up, there is nowhere to take that animal. And we have state regulations on the proper treatment of those animals, and so it's such a difficult problem in town. Hear about it constantly, daily. We're hearing about those struggles. What the animal control officers, and having 3 of them, will do is will help us go out and enforce some health, safety, and care of those animals, and animals that are on leashes that shouldn't be. That doesn't really address stray dogs running around, because again, we don't have a place to put them. So we're still trying to address that component of it, but from a component of going out and enforcing the codes that we have, that is well on its way.
Thank you.
That was a long explanation. Oh.
And it is a very complicated issue. I understand that. Thank you.
Where are we on the fountain?
Still moving forward on the fountain. We just brought in the big lid for the pump house in the back. We didn't want to put that equipment in there until we could secure it and keep kids from trying to climb in there and fall down into that well house. So that's on its way. But there's been a lot of water out there. We're waiting for that to drain out so we can go in and some concrete work that needs to be done. We're crossing our fingers end of July. We will be doing a grand reopening for that, and that'll be in the works once we have a better idea of those dates. But we're looking end of July into August. Hopefully that will be complete and we're ready to get out there and celebrate and turn it on.
I have a question. It's about the Air Museum. The
Yes.
roof is leaking.
Yes.
Is there any hope for?
Well, we should always have hope. And
How about money?
The money thing. I've probably got 7 or 8 roofs that buildings that the city owns with the same or worse condition as the museum out there. So part of this budget cycle, we're going to have some of those questions on how are we going to allocate that money and where are we going to put it. A lot of deferred maintenance on these roofs, and it's caught up to us. We do have a facilities department that we haven't had before, and they're out evaluating that moving forward so we can be a little bit more proactive, find out what other things are coming due, issues that we have. So it's on the list. We're aware of it. We've evaluated it. Early springtime, we couldn't get anybody to come out and quote it. I'll have to get with Matt. I think that's still been a problem when they come out and look at that, of anybody wanting to touch it. So that's not a great answer, but yes, we're very aware and trying to decide how to act.
Okay.
Okay, comments from commissioners and staff?
No more. I'm sorry, no
Welcome.
more. Thank you.
Okay. All right, if not, I will move to recess to executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel matters of non-elected personnel as permitted by the non-elected personnel matter exception to the Open Meetings Act set forth in KSA 75-4319B1 to include the city attorney and the city manager for a period of, Paul?
I would say 15 minutes.
15 minutes to reconvene in the commission room at 7:35.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion is made by Mayor Maples, seconded by Vice Mayor Van Oster, to recess to executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel matters of non-elected personnel as permitted by the non-elected personnel matter exception to the Open Meetings Act as set forth in KSA 75-4319B1 to include the city attorney and city manager for a period of 15 minutes to reconvene in the commission room at 7:35 p.m. Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
All right. will move to approve a one-year extension of the employment agreement with City Manager Ben Brubaker, subject to terms and conditions to be set forth in an addendum to the agreement to be prepared by the city attorney, and to authorize the mayor to execute the addendum on behalf of the city. That would be me.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Mayor Maples, seconded by Vice Mayor Van Oster, to approve a one-year extension of the employment agreement with City Manager Ben Brubaker, subject to the terms and conditions to be set forth in an addendum to the agreement to be prepared by the city attorney, and to authorize the mayor to execute the addendum on behalf of the city. Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye. Okay, and now I make a motion to adjourn.
Aye. I mean, second.
Motion is made by Mayor Maples, seconded by Commissioner Jones to adjourn. Can I see a show of hands? Thank you.
Thank you.